they did not place their trust in the ability to see the rational pathway out. They placed their trust in the one who sees what they don't see. That was the point. What does Allah Azza wa Jalla say at the end of this? Inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. I haven't started to break down some of the concepts yet. But what does Allah say at the end of this? فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. Now get back to worship. Focus on your worship. Keep paying attention. Next, move on to the next cause of worship. Move on to the next course of action to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's not going to be limited by these things. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. Puts him back on track. Stay focused. That's the call to action at the end of this. Stay focused, stay engaged in worship. Not look for the next sign. Stay engaged in worship. It will come to you. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Verily, with every difficulty comes ease. Verily, with every difficulty comes ease. Now, scholars mention a few things here. Some of the scholars said the repetition here is a form of ta'keed. It's a form of just reaffirming, comforting the Prophet ﷺ. Verily, to say it twice, right? Some of the scholars also mention, if you pay attention, al-usr, inna ma' al-usr, one usr, verily with every single difficulty comes ease. It's not al-yusr, it's in the plural, ease. It's a weak hadith, but it is something that the Sahaba can be traced to the companions and some of the Salaf. That لا يغلب عسر, that one usr, لا يغلب عسر يسرين. One hardship will not overcome two forms of ease. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions ease twice, but only mentions one difficulty. The beauty of that the ulama mention, and there's so much to talk about here, is that with every single difficulty comes multiple forms of ease. Similar to when Allah says, وَمَن يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Whoever is mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taqwa typically comes when sin is presented to you and you restrict yourself. You restrain yourself from that sin. You might think that you're missing out, right? You're missing out because you restrain yourself from that sin. So the ladha, the pleasure of that sin, you're foregoing it. Therefore, inducing hardship for yourself, right? وَمَن يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Not only is Allah going to make a way out for you, يَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah is going to provide for you from ways that you don't even understand, ways that you didn't even plan. Things will come to you from directions and in packages that you could have never planned for yourself. وَمَن يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. So the scholar said, when it comes to the test, the blessings that are unlocked after the test in this life and the next are multiple. You know, if you're actually taking an exam, most of you being students, I presume, you can understand this when you're actually taking the test, right? To get this particular degree, what the degree will unlock for you in terms of career and in terms of potential and profession, right, are multiple doors. Whereas the test is limited to a time, a moment, you have to pass this particular test. And so when trials come to us in this life, look, you've got to get through this moment. But what will come after it is multiple. Multiple in what sense? Multiple in that the blessing might come to you in this life and or the next, but certainly in the next if you are patient. You'll certainly be rewarded for your trial in the next, no matter what, so long as you were patient. And you also may see some of that ease come in this life as well. Now, as we said, there is yusr in the plural, ease is in the plural, usr is in the singular, right? I want you to remember that next time you're reading this, okay? As great as your usr is, the yusr will always be greater. Notice here, Allah did not minimize your hardship. Allah doesn't say you're not really in pain. It's not a big deal. Get up, walk it off. Allah does not minimize the hardship. He simply maximizes the reward. There's a big difference between those two. Remember I said the person, good counselor is someone that gives you that strong advice, affirms you, speaks with certainty, belief in you, right? A bad one's like, walk it off, what's your problem? Other people go through this all the time. Don't you hate that when you're going through something bad? Like, other people go through this all the time. You know, I went through this 2-3 times. I didn't cry like you.